Feuzion, my name is Alex Fuse, the host of Feuzion News, and today is August 16th, and I am on the phone right now with Michael Hurley from CBS Boston Sports Hub. So, Michael, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to kick things off with the Boston Red Sox. They are entering a big weekend series with the New York Yankees again this weekend in Fenway. What do the Red Sox have to do to keep the lead from the Yankees this weekend?
It's starting to feel, and granted there's, a full month and a half left, but it's starting to feel like the Red Sox can just kind of tread water in these games. Maybe, I know there's 2 series with the Yankees left. If they can go 3-4 in those 7 games or 4-3, that's probably going to be enough given the way that the teams have been going. So from the Red Sox perspective, that's probably going to be enough. But if the Yankees do get hot, which it seems like they're overdue for a hot streak, then that's sort of going to be the important ones. And if they get that started this weekend, then the Yankees, if the Yankees get that started this weekend, then it's really on the pennant race in the East.
Now, David Price should be coming off the DL in just a few days. What do you expect from David Price going forward this season?
It's really interesting because I think normally in that situation, a pitcher would just have the surgery, sit out the rest of the year, and miss probably the majority of next year, if not the whole. But he has that opt-out clause at the end of 2018, so he's not really fit to make a lot of money as a free agent if he has the surgery. Where meanwhile, it seems like he really is having trouble dealing with that elbow pain and soreness and whatever the problem might be. So I'm honestly expecting very little out of him going forward, and that has nothing to do with the larger David Price story as much as it does just this elbow clearly is bothering him to a point that has really put him in a tough spot.
So you would be surprised if David Price came back and pitched Price. Well, the Red Sox wanted David Price to pitch when they signed him last year.
Yeah, well, I guess even if he was healthy, I'd be surprised if he pitched the way they wanted him to pitch because he really hasn't come through on that at all. His ERA is over 4, which is just not what you spend $30 million a year to get. So but I would be surprised if he came back and pitched every 5th day and really contributed on a pennant run because I feel like to miss that time where the results were there, it's not like he was getting shelled. It must have really been something that bothered him. Unless, I don't know how closely you followed the whole spat with Dennis Eckersley. Unless that really did just drive him away for whatever reason, where he said, I'm playing hurt and this nonsense is going on, I'm just going to take a little vacation. If that's the case, then maybe he will pitch fine, but that's a whole nother problem.
Rafael Devers has really showed Red Sox fans this excitement about Red Sox baseball that hasn't really been there all year, especially that void at third base that Pablo Sandoval could not fill in, of course, him now with the San Francisco Giants. Do you think this Devers 2-week hot streak is just a 2-week hot streak and nothing more, or do you think this barely 21-year-old kid is really this major league star?
Well, I think he's definitely a high-level player. I don't think this is a sustainable run for anyone. But I know that in his 17 games, he has 6 home runs, and prior to that, all season, Red Sox third baseman had 7 home runs. So he's been basically exactly what was needed for this team. They needed a boost in some way, and him and Eduardo Nunez came and just started not making outs, period. It's been kind of silly. So, he'll come back to earth, but I do think overall, in the long run, he is a legitimate player. I think he's been talked about for a while, and just the swing is what's really appealing about it is that he hits the ball to the left, he can pull the ball to the right. It's not, nothing's overwhelming. When you take 103 mile an hour or all this Chapman fastball the other way in Yankee Stadium and tie the game in the 9th, you've got something special. So I do think he is a legitimate player that's going to be around for a while.
Michael, let's switch gears now and talk to defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots down there in Foxborough. What do the Patriots have to do to really stay this really in-depth team, which is one of the depth football teams I have ever seen in my lifetime? Really, a lot of people are saying they're going to go undefeated this year. That's a big storyline. Forget that for right now. That should not be something the Patriots want to do. But it's definitely not out of the ordinary, in my opinion. But what do you think the biggest thing the Patriots need to do this season?
Well, they got to stay healthy, and they suffered an injury at practice today, and their top pick, Derek Rivers, is defensive end, and they lost Rob Ninkovich, they lost Chris Long. They're definitely going to be a little bit lacking in depth on the edge of their defense, and that's a significant matter. And granted, you have Stephon Gilmore now and Malcolm Butler as your cornerback tandem, which helps negate that a little. But still, if they can't really afford to suffer many injuries there. So that's a big thing. It's kind of obvious to say injuries, but there's that. And then it's just, managing every single week is going to be the Super Bowl for their opponent. The Chiefs are going to treat Week 1 like the Super Bowl. The Texans in Week 3 are going to treat it like the Super Bowl. You're going to get every team's very best from coaches to players. So it's going to be a grind of a season because I haven't seen, even the 2007 season in August was not hyped up as much as this team is.
Michael, you mentioned the 2007 team. Do you feel like if Brandon Cooks is really outstanding, we could be comparing Brandon Cooks to Randy Moss at the end of the season?
Probably not, and I think a big reason is Rob Gronkowski because he's just too good and too dominant to allow for a receiver to be that number one guy. The thing with Moss was they had Moss and Welker, and those were like the two guys. I mean, Stallworth was decent that year. Jabbar Gaffney was okay. The tight end was Ben Watson there. Geez, 10 years ago now. It's starting to fade. But it was not an inside-out offense the way it is now, where Brady is so locked onto Gronkowski. And granted, they won the Super Bowl without him, and that helped Brady spread it around more. So I do think Cooks will get, he'll post big numbers and he'll be a huge player. But I just think it's going to be a little bit more evenly distributed than we saw 10 years ago with Moss.
Michael, I think the last time we talked on Feuzion News, we talked about Deion Lewis. And Deion Lewis is a big guy from upstate New York. He played at Albany Academy High School in high school here. And where do you see Deion Lewis's future with the New England Patriots this season?
Well, future beyond this is tough. I would say that this year, I think he figures to play a big role because they went out and got Mike Gillislee. And, he's supposed to do well, but I don't think it's a given that he's just going to walk into this offense. He's not getting any reps in the preseason because he has a hamstring injury. So I do think there's room there for Lewis to sort of do what he does, which is just be untackleable, be elusive, be fast, be quick. And he really works in that hurry-up offense that they run. And Brady likes him. He obviously has the trust. So with him, it's always just been a question of health. That's his entire NFL career. He's missed full years. He's missed large chunks of season. So, keeping his knees healthy, keeping his hips healthy is really the only thing that could hold him back because he's shown that he's a really good player.
This is a fan question. If Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl this year, does Tom Brady say, this is it, and I retire?
I think it's possible, to be honest with you, because I think a lot of this, I'm going to play till I'm 45 stuff, a lot of that is just pushing off the story so that it's not a distraction, so that other players aren't asked, this is Tom's last year, this could be his last year. I think it's just a distraction tactic. I don't think anyone's really planning on playing till they're 45. So I do think it's possible. I mean, he's got everything he could ever want. Granted, he's a psychotic competitor, so there's always that element of wanting more. But, in his 40s with kids and a wife and a business all set up, he's set for life. It's not about money. I think, if he gets that, and I guess it would take a little bit more than just winning. Maybe he took a big hit in the season that made him really rethink things. But I do think it's very possible.
Michael, before we wrap up this interview, what is your prediction for the 2017 New England Patriots? How do you think they're going to do this season?
Well, honestly, I think they're going back to the Super Bowl because I look around the AFC and I just don't see that team that's going to knock them off. I don't think Roethlisberger's head and heart are into it fully in Pittsburgh. I think Oakland was very good last year, but I think in this league it's hard to repeat. I don't really believe in Jack Del Rio, and that team won a lot of close games last year. Sort of bounce the ball one way. They're a whole different season. So I see the Patriots still being the class of the AFC. Whoever's coming out of the NFC, though, is going to be good. And, we saw last year the Patriots failed by 25 points in that game, and that gets somewhat forgotten. So to sit here and say the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl, I think is a bit presumptuous. But I do think I do feel comfortable saying that, barring a Brady, Gronkowski, and Cook's injury, this team will be headed back to the Super Bowl.
All right. Michael, I want to say thank you again for taking the time to come on my show today. Where can the fans follow you along on social media?
That's right at Michael F. Hurley. And thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Anytime. Okay, Feuzion, you just heard it from Michael Hurley about the Boston Red Sox and the New England Patriots. David Price, he thinks that is not going to do that great once he comes off the DL. He's not expecting anything that we haven't seen from him this season. And with the Patriots, he said the Super Bowl is not out of question. He thinks the Patriots are going to make the Super Bowl, just not sure if they are going to win it. Nothing out of question, though. Feuzion, I want to say thank you for taking the time to come on to watch my show today. today's. I have 3 shows today. Go back and watch all my other episodes. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will be seeing you very soon. Thanks for watching.